You join us here in France at the Circuit Paul Ricard for an exciting free practice, hopefully setting the mood for the rest of the weekend. Now then, Anthony Davidson, we've had some really strategic races over the past couple of years, thanks to the current three-tyre compound system, and of course the groundwork for all those strategies comes from the free practice sessions like this one. So what do you think of the current tyre regulations?
Well, they've created some, I wouldn't say exciting necessarily, but certainly interesting races. There have been a lot more questions around, like how long can someone stay out on this set, or will they have the pace to catch another car if they suddenly bolted on a set of ultra softs, things like that. When everything comes together, we end up with multiple cars nose to tail on different tyres, all fighting for track position. So on the whole, it's definitely been a positive step, I feel, for the sport.
What's up, boys and girls? Welcome back to F1 2019 career mode. Here today for the French Grand Prix. A couple of things I want to get out there straight away. We'll be doing a double upload this episode, so we will be doing this race here in France and Austria as well. Also, we'll be jumping straight into the race. I had a little glitch, so I've got no qualifying footage. Spare you the grim details, we didn't make it out of Q1, so that was pretty disappointing, but without further ado, let's go to the French Grand Prix.
Welcome to Le Castellet as we return from across the Atlantic for the 2019 French Grand Prix. Reintroduced to the Formula One calendar just last year after an absence of almost 3 decades. The Circuit Paul Ricard, where racing legends such as Alain Prost gave us some Turn 1 excitement before Valtteri Bottas and Sebastian Vettel and a commanding victory from Lewis Hamilton gave us a brilliant race last year. What, I wonder, will it have in store for us this season? 6 lefts and 9 rights give us a total of 15 corners here at the Circuit Paul Ricard, and a lap covers an overall distance of 3.6 miles. Average speeds will be somewhere in the region of 142 miles per hour, and they'll be maxing out on the Mistral Straight at around 205 miles per hour. And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once again by Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Lee. No grip penalties, no mitigating circumstances, just a poor qualifying performance and a very disappointing start position for them today.
Yeah, it can be very disheartening when you have a bad qualifying session, and even more so when you get to the grid for the race and you can't even see the start line because of all the cars ahead of you. It's just as well that Lucas has a reputation for hard work and determination, as he's going to need both today.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Butler, Charles Leclerc and Verstappen, Weber, Raikkonen, Ricciardo and Antonio Giovinazzi, Norris, Perez, Romain Grosjean and Albon, Sainz, Fiat, Lee and Robert Kubica, Russell and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
We'll try not to, boss. Welcome, guys, to the grid of the French Grand Prix. Yeah, this is not where I wanted to be honest. P17 only just ahead of the Williams. Yeah, I can say in advance I've recorded a couple of career mode episodes ahead, and 110 AI is no damn joke. It is absolutely unreal. Yeah, it almost left me speechless, honestly, when I actually did qualifying for this race, and I felt like I honestly put in a really good lap. Like there was maybe 2/10 in it, and we only just pipped Robert Kubica by like half a tenth or something. So yeah, I was really confused, to be honest. So maybe that is going to be patched in a future update, I don't know. All I know is we've got our work cut out from P17 on the grid. The aim is to get back up through the field and hopefully, maybe, just maybe, can we sneak a point or two in this French Grand Prix. But anyway, reforming on the grid now for the French Grand Prix from 17th place on the grid. Not where we wanted to be, but we'll try and make the best of a bad situation. Awaiting 5 red lights now for the French Grand Prix here at Paul Ricard, and away we go pretty decent start. Robert Kubica with a great launch, but then went absolutely nowhere. I don't know if he bogged down or what. Kvyat with a reasonable launch. We're going to go for the big boy dive into turn 1, kind of get cut off by Alex Albon, I believe that was. Carlos Sainz now on our right hand side. This is what, 16th? Nope, now we're back to 17th, so back to where we started. Sainz sends it up the inside of Danny Kvyat. Hopefully you can get that move done and maybe we'll be able to follow him through. As you can see, I'm just looking for an avenue, trying to get past these guys, because I know once the field kind of spreads out and you kind of lose that slipstream effect, it is pretty hard to make time. Engine's overheating already as well, so that's kind of a worrying sign. But Kvyat in the slipstream, we're going to send it up the inside of the Russian for P16. Can we potentially drive around the outside of Sainz? No, he's in a McLaren, that's a bit too optimistic. Maybe if that was a Williams we might have been able to pull that off, but yeah, unfortunately we couldn't do anything there. So it's P16 for now, 1 spot gain, so not really a great opening lap. Could be worse, I suppose. Could have gone backwards, could have spun, could be last. So yeah, but how about this, round the outside of Carlos Sainz now. He just leaves us enough space, we're still there. Are we going to get this done? Checking that I had no front wing damage there, we're all good. We're trying to go round the outside of Sainz, and maybe Albon turns to the inside, and how about that? Double overtake around the outside of Sainz and Albon. Let's get a replay of that. That was unreal. Round the outside of the McLaren driver, we just about managed to not touch. I think we may have just grazed each other's side pods then. Jumping on board with Sainz, as you can see, we're still there, and we just drive clean around the outside, send it up the inside of Albon. I think we actually locked the rears as well, but we managed to catch it. And we just get better drive traction, and that's a double overtake around the outside. Getting on now to the back straight on lap 2. We got Romain Grosjean just in front of us. Are we going to try go for a move on the Haas driver? I think that was Perez that locked up. He's going wheel to wheel with Giovinazzi. Albon now on our outside, trying to get the place back, so we're going to have to fend off the Toro Rosso, and we've got to be aware of, I'm pretty sure that's Carlos Sainz right behind us as well. Albon tried to go around the outside. Giovinazzi really slow. I think he's actually got front wing damage. He was incredibly slow through that right hand corner. So I think he must have end plate damage, because there's no way an Alpha should be that slow. That's just ridiculous. But anyway, we get the move done, and that is now what, up to P13. Cutting onto the back straight again on lap 3, we have Sergio Perez, Romain Grosjean going wheel to wheel. Grosjean, I think, trying to go around the outside of Perez. Sergio still hanging in there. We're in the slipstream. Can we potentially get a double overtake here up the inside? And for the second time in the space of 3 laps, we have done a double overtake. How about that? First one was around the outside. Second one, clean as you like up the inside. No contact made. That was a pretty damn good move. I'm happy with that. Anyway, cutting on the lap 7, we've caught up the Lando Norris in the McLaren. We're going to try go around the outside. Turns to the inside. And there we go. We have dispatched of the young Brit, and that is now up into P10. So in the points, but this is far from over, because we come on to lap 11. Antonio Giovinazzi out of the race. His day just goes from bad to worse, trundling around at the back with front wing damage, and then the Alpha decides to give up the ghost. No smoke, so whether that's a gearbox problem or maybe, I don't know, maybe something electrical, but his season is just going from bad to worse basically for Giovinazzi. But anyway, coming back on to the action with us now. On to lap 12, a couple of people are pitting in for what I believe would be hard tyres. We are going to head in as well. I don't know if it was this lap or last lap we were actually supposed to come in. Pretty sure it was this lap. Pretty decent stop for the Renault boys, 2.4, but we get held. I think who was that for? That's for Sergio Perez in the Racing Point. So not really what we needed while I was trying to undercut Daniel Ricciardo. As you would have seen, he was only just up the road. We had caught him a little bit. So that's going to make things interesting to see how much time we've lost. We're going to put in a blistering outlap if we can. and it's been a pretty decent lap. So as we come on to the end of lap 13, on the lap 14, you can see a bunch of guys in the pits, and there is Ricciardo at turn 1. So we have definitely lost out a little bit. So being held by Perez definitely done us no favours. So for the next 10 laps, it was basically, or for the rest of the race, it was all about trying to hunt down Ricciardo. And as you can see, it's taken us 11 laps, but on to lap 25, literally for the next 10, 11 laps, we were just trying to hunt him down. Nothing else happened, no one retired or anything. But on the lap 25 now, on the back straight, there is open overtake mode. Can we go around the outside of our fellow Australian? That's real close, but we just get the move done. And that is up into, what, P8, I think? Yes, P8. Jump on board with Daniel for a quick replay. He locks up the left front a little bit. We nearly touch. How close was that? He tries staying it around the outside, but just can't do it. Hard tyres, and I think we just had the better momentum, so there was nothing he could do there. But cutting on to lap 26, and we might get a taste of our own medicine as it's Ricciardo now with the DRS. We moved, oh, that was probably a bit line ball. We did move pretty late, but Ricciardo gets the position back, drives clean around the outside, and as you can see, just up the road, that is a Red Bull of, I believe that's Devin Butler, who has some kind of problem. I'm not sure what it is, but it is really slowing him up. And as you can see, cutting on to the end of lap 26, Ricciardo is right on him. We're right on the back of the pair of them. Might be a 3 wide moment here down into turn 1. Ricciardo goes for the inside, Butler's piggy in the middle. We're going to try to go around the outside. Ricciardo, big boy yeet at the inside, double lock up on the front tyres. Butler on our outside, but we just managed to hold him off. Let's jump on board with Ricciardo for a look at that. My goodness, he goes for the massive dive up the inside. He can't pull it up. He nearly turns back and actually collects me. Oh my god, that was that was unreal. Honestly, that legitimately scared the crap out of me when I saw Ricciardo just fly through my screen with both front tyres locked up. But we can't worry about that. Devin Butler on the attack on the outside, but he locks up on the left front, just like Ricciardo did. And I think that is this battle now done and dusted, and as long as we can just keep him behind as we cut through the final sector, Lewis Hamilton wins the race just like he did in real life. As we come for the final couple of corners now, we just got to try and make sure that they don't go for the dive, because the AI, they will go for the dive bomb this year. I've experienced that numerous times. Max Verstappen, fastest lap of the race on the last lap, that'll be an extra point for him. Butler all over our rear wing, trying to get the position back, but it looks like we are just going to hold the lead a little bit wide, and not hold the lead, hold P7, I don't know what that was, but anyway, up to the line, and that is P7, pretty happy with that.
Alright, race over, take care of the car on the way in.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
Alright, there we go guys, that has been the French Grand Prix. From P17 all the way up to P7, we beat our old F2 rival, so that's pretty good. Double points finish for Renault as well, so pretty decent result. So, without further ado, let's go and talk to Claire and see what she reckons.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that.
That was a close race with Lucas.
As former teammates, you must know each other's moves well.
Yeah, we know each other fairly well, but we can always pull a surprise or two.
How do things stand between you and Lucas now you've come out on top of your competition?
Well, still good mates, you know, can't complain. I mean, we beat him fair and square, so all's fair in love and war.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, Claire, and there we go, guys. That has been round number 8. Yeah, round 8. For some reason, I keep thinking it's round 9 or something. I don't know. It's because the numbers don't correspond. But as I said, we're going to jump ahead to Austria now, so the episode and round numbers correspond, so I don't keep getting confused, because it's really annoying. But anyway, decent haul of resource points, just over 1,000. So that's very helpful, I believe. We've got a contract negotiation as well, so let's go and do that, shall we? And see what we can come up with. Alright, so here we go for our second contract negotiation of the season, I believe. A bit 50-50 on which way to go for expected quality and race positions here, because qualifying on 110 AI is just absolutely ridiculous. But in the race, it's still, you know, not too hard to end up with points and whatnot. So we'll see if the team like that.
They didn't like those turns. Let's try again.
Alright, so that was a bit too much, so let's turn simultaneous development down. Hopefully that's good enough.
Our proposal has been accepted. The new contract will take effect from the next race weekend.
Alright, sweet, there we go. Another contract negotiation done and dusted. Second one of the season. I reckon that looks pretty good myself, so overall a decent recovery from, what was it, 17th on the grid, I think. So next up we'll head to the Red Bull Ring. One of my personal favourites. We're going to put a front downforce upgrade on the car as well, with the resource points we had, and as you can see we're basically broke again now, so that's wonderful. So we'll head off to Austria, one of my strongest tracks on the calendar, and hopefully we can get out of qualifying 1. Let's go.
Practice is beginning here in Spielberg, marking the start of the Austrian Grand Prix. A warm welcome once again to the man standing beside me in the commentary box for this session, Anthony Davidson. Hello, Ant. Excited to get underway?
Yeah, absolutely. I always look forward to seeing the cars get out there on track. They probably won't be on the limit immediately, of course. We know that one or two of the teams are looking to do some work on new aerodynamic packages, so that always takes some time to get into. But it'll be really interesting to see later on in the session what kind of performance gains are there to be found.
Alright, welcome guys to the Red Bull Ring here in Austria. Practice went fairly swimmingly. We got through all of the practice programs, I believe, with a purple score. I think ERS we struggled with a little bit. We only just managed to scrape through there. I believe this is fuel saving. We get the purple score there, only marginally mind you. And then here, as we come on to the ERS program, it actually started to rain. So that probably hampered my progress a little bit, but as you can see we just squeaked through for the purple score, and this was my first attempt at race strategy, and as you can see with light drizzle it just did not work. So I waited until practice 2, but we got through everything in the end. As you can see, practice 2, clear skies, went through qualifying pace, and we actually ended up P3 right behind the 2 Mercedes, so pace is actually looking pretty good, but as always the AI, they sandbag in practice. I've already noticed on 110 AI, they sandbag quite a lot as well, so it'll be interesting to see where we stand, but everything's looking pretty good so far, so hopefully we can get out of Q1. We are set to have rain in the race, as you would have caught a brief glimpse there. I think we've got heavy rain to start off with, then transitioning to light rain, and then to dry conditions. As you can see, just looking through R&D again, is there anything we might want to do? We're going to fix a failed engine upgrade, so that should go on the car for the next episode. So without further ado, let's go to qualifying.
Thank you for joining us once again for today's qualifying session. Sit back, relax, and enjoy what we hope will be a fantastic contest for pole position. Now then, Anthony Davidson, you're not getting any younger, but you have been involved in your fair share of qualifying sessions in an illustrious 30-year career. How do you deal with the pressure when you have that one chance to deliver a perfect lap?
It's not so much about dealing with the pressure, it's more about how you approach the risk and just how much of it are you willing to take. You're constantly balancing the car on the edge of grip from braking, cornering and traction. And over the course of a lap, it's easy to get that balance wrong. And that's why achieving the perfect lap is almost impossible. As you say, I've been doing this 30 years now, and it never gets any easier.
Alright, chappos, let's get into qualifying, shall we? Here in Austria, qualifying 1. As I said, confidence levels are not real high. I'm obviously gonna, throw the darn thing around and hope that we can squeak out of Q1 on 110 ROI. Certainly would be something special, but on our first flying lap here, we're running a little bit wide in the final corner. Thankfully the lap isn't invalid. We come up to the line and we go P4. Kimi Räikkönen on provisional pole in the Alfa Romeo. Valtteri Bottas just ahead of us, but as you can see we go out again at the end of the session. Currently P16, Albon on the cutoff position in 15th, and Lance Stroll right behind us in P17. We've gained a little bit of time through the first 2 sectors, but as we come through to the final corner, or final 2 corners, we don't track extend anywhere near as much that time. Up to the line, and do we get out? Yes we do. That is up to P8 ahead of Kimi Räikkönen, and as we cut to the end of Q1, there we go, we have made it out. How about that? I'm really happy with that, to be honest, and I honestly thought if we couldn't make it out, then I might actually have to turn the difficulty down just for qualifying, because a Renault shouldn't be getting knocked out in Q1, especially when we're putting decent lap times in. But anyway, as we cut on to Q2 now, fast forward to the end of the session, I've just decided to go out right at the end, do 1 lap on the 1 remaining brand new set of soft compound tyres. I've placed myself maybe in a bit of an awkward spot. I was trying to get some slipstream from, I'm pretty sure that's Lewis Hamilton, but I may have actually parked myself a bit too close. We may be getting a tiny bit of dirty air. It certainly has paid off a little bit with the tow coming up the hill and including down here. But I think Hamilton, he's actually on a cool down lap, and as you can see he just slows on the racing line, kinda definitely put me off a little bit, maybe half, I don't know, 2/10 maybe in that. It could be more. But anyway, as we come through the second sector, the lap still is feeling pretty decent. Hamilton is still tucked up under our rear wing, oddly enough, so for a cool down lap he still seems to be having a solid go. But anyway, as we come to the final 2 corners now, throw it in, just managed to not go over the white line. Pretty decent run through the final corner, and is this going to be enough to get into Q3? I think that come up P11 unfortunately, and yes, so even at one of my best tracks on the calendar, and with a fairly decent lap, there may have been a 10th or 2 in that lap, and I think that actually would have got us out anyway, but wow, I mean, there's your proof, boys and girls. 110 AI is no damn joke on F1 2019. This is absolutely unreal. I've never actually felt like I've had to push this damn hard and actually not be right up at the pointy end of the field. So this is all a bit new and all a bit different to me. As you can see, we have Sergio Perez as well, our new rival. We won the rivalry against, I think that might have been Romain Grosjean or Lucas Weber, one of the 2 Haas drivers, but a little bit disappointing, but still, we can definitely fight from P11. So without further ado, let's go to the race.
Obviously I expected a better session, but these things happen from time to time. Try to make up for it in the race.
Good afternoon and welcome to Spielberg and to a circuit that in one form or another has held every Austrian Grand Prix in the championship, except the very first back in 1964. It was at this race that John Watson lost a bet and his beard when he took Team Penske's only F1 victory in 1976. If anything, the stakes are even higher today, with 25 points available for victory and a crucial advantage in the championship fight. It's a short lap here in Spielberg with just 10 corners, 7 rights and 3 lefts, making up the total distance of 2.6 miles. And expect to see a lot of cars running wide today, especially through the last corner, as the wet conditions make the cars skittish through the downhill sections. Joining me for the Grand Prix once again is Anthony Davidson. Now, I want to ask you about Lando Norris. They're still relatively new to a sport which does have a high learning curve and, of course, little tolerance for mistakes.
That's right, it is a difficult environment to come into. In junior categories, you're competing against drivers with similar levels of experience. But some of these guys in Formula One have been there for over a decade. But I have to say, in this case, it's so far so good.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday puts him on pole, and Devon Butler lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Bottas, Sebastian Vettel and Verstappen, Weber, Perez, Ricciardo and Kimi Raikkonen, Lee, Norris, Carlos Sainz and Grosjean, Giovinazzi, Stroll, Daniel Kvyat and Robert Kubica, Albon and George Russell ends our grid lineup. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Okay, be wary of the cars ahead braking suddenly into one. We could ruin our race if we hit them. Good luck.
We will certainly try not to rear-end anyone, Jeffrey, but welcome guys to the grid of the Austrian Grand Prix. Intermediate tyres, interestingly enough to note, despite the fact that it does say heavy rain, so it'll certainly be interesting to see how this all pans out. This will be my first experience in basically full wet conditions on the game as well, so this is all new to me, so we're going to have to learn very quickly. I had to think then, I completely forgot what I was going to say, but anyway. Away for the formation lap now, and I feel like this is going to be a really interesting race. We've got a real solid car underneath us. It's one of my best tracks, but at the same time we haven't got ideal track position. We definitely could and should be up a few more spots. Finally got the sentence out, there we go. But anyway, as we come to reform on the grid from P11, I had to think then, I don't know why, I thought I was starting further up even though I wasn't. That's a beautiful shot, isn't it, of all the cars as we reform on the grid now from P11. Hopefully we can get a good start, maybe challenge Ricciardo, or at least maintain track position. We don't want to be going backwards off the start. But awaiting 5 red lights for the Austrian Grand Prix. Heavy rain and on intermediate tyres, anything could happen. Away we go. Pretty scrappy start, it must be said. The top 10 disappear. We've got Carlos Sainz, I think that is on our right hand side. If you listen closely, you should be able to hear the rush music as we power up the hill. Ricciardo and Raikkonen going side by side. Sainz still on our inside, so we're pinched and we're kind of in an awkward spot. And as you can see, it is so difficult to see a damn thing. The spray is really bad. And we're only on intermediate tyres. Probably be even worse if we were on wets, for crying out loud. And my mistake as well, that was Lando Norris, that wasn't Carlos Sainz. We're going to try and go for the dive bomb. Yes, we're out the inside of Ricciardo and Raikkonen. We nearly completely rear-end Max Verstappen and we're off in the gravel. That is not what we needed. We didn't need to do that. We've really made things hard for ourselves now, guys. Now we're back down in P17, where we qualified about 30 minutes ago for the French Grand Prix. So, I don't know, 17, maybe it's our unlucky number. Yeah, now we've definitely got our work cut out. 36 laps around the Red Bull Ring, half of the race basically, following cars in the spray. You can't see a damn thing, so this is going to be really interesting. George Russell, I think that was, looking for a move up the inside into the final corner. That would have been really odd to see Williams shoot up our inside. Quite depressing at the same time, almost, to be honest. But as we go up the inside of Lance Stroll, just leaves us enough room. We get reasonable traction, and there we go. That is the first of what hopefully will be many overtakes made this afternoon. Back up to P16. Next up is the Russian Danny Kvyat, cutting onto lap 4. Are we going to go for the big boy yeet? Yes, we are. Up the inside, and that is up into P15 as long as we get good drive, and we do. Next up, the Alfa Romeo Antonio Giovinazzi. This is for 14th place. Hopefully Gio can actually finish the race this time, which is something he wasn't able to do earlier in France. I think he's actually had 2 or 3 retirements so far this season. Don't quote me on that, mind you. But around the outside, turns to the inside of the Alfa Romeo driver, and there we go. That's P14. Next up is the Haas of Romain Grosjean. Definitely not where he would want to be, I wouldn't think. I think the Haas is definitely a top 10 worthy car, but cutting on the lap 6 now, we've caught up to Grosjean. We were thinking about the move up the inside, but he kind of moved real late, and as you can see, he leaves us no room, forces us up onto the curb. It was real ordinary driving there by Romain Grosjean. If I'm brutally honest, he's channeling his inner Kevin Magnussen there or something, but anyway. We try to go around the outside. This time he just leaves us enough room. I think we did tap tyres, so we kind of squeezed him a little bit because I wasn't really impressed. I don't know if he actually tapped us then. He might have. It was very close, but we get the move done, and that's up to P13. Coming on to lap 10, 4 laps later, we've caught up to the back of the 2 Husky Chocolate McLarens. That feels weird to say. I'm the only one who thinks that. Anyway, up the inside of the Spaniard on, we'll call it the back straight for the sake of the argument. Up the inside, hit the apex, and there we go. That's back up to P12. So almost back to where we were. Lando Norris is our next target, and on the very next lap, in the exact same spot, we're going to try the other way around the outside of the McLaren, and we just get it done, do we? He's still there. The arrow is still red, so we can't really turn back across, but we have the inside line, and that should be the move done. And there we go, back up to where we started, up to P11. Cut on to lap 14 now. We've caught up to Kimi Raikkonen and Daniel Ricciardo, but as you can see, DRS is now enabled. The track dried out very quickly in the last 2-3 laps, to be honest. And as you can see, I actually really wanted to get the Ricciardo because he would have priority, and I did not want to double stack. So as you can see, DRS, we blast around the outside of the Kimster for P10. But as you can see, with priority, Ricciardo comes in, and at this point I'm thinking I do not want to double stack, so I'm actually going to stay out, which I don't know, probably is not going to do me too much good anyway. If anything, it might even put me further down, I'm not sure. But as you can see, cutting on to lap 15, no grip, we completely missed the pit entry, drift over the white line, but we managed to drag the Renault back into the pit lane. The tyre temperatures were off the scale by the time we come back around to come into the pits. Honestly, all 4 tyres were overheating. I was actually expecting to spin at some point, but we held on to it. Decent pit stop from the Renault boys, as always. And as you can see, a couple of cars going past us there. Romain Grosjean, fastest lap of the race. We've lost out a little bit by the looks of it. We're going to come out battling Kimi Raikkonen. No, he just gets ahead of us. As we come out now, we are, where are we? P14, so we've definitely lost out a little bit, but in saying that, so was Raikkonen, because we weren't battling for P13 and 14. I think we were 10th and 11th or something. But as you can see, brand new soft tyres, real good drive traction right under the rear wing of the Alfa Romeo, pushing him along the back straight damn near. Up the inside, Kimi fairly late on the brakes, but nothing he can do. Up the inside, and there we go. Clean as you like, done and dusted, but Kimi comes back up the inside. We turn the engine down into lean to save a bit of fuel, and that maybe wasn't the right thing to do because the Kimster has shot back up the inside. Hamilton, I think that was, with the fastest lap of the race. And yeah, 1 step forward, 1 step back. On to the next lap, lap 17, take 2. Kimi with DRS off the car in front. I think that's Grosjean. We're going to go for the big boy yeet. clean around the outside, clean as you like. How about that? Let's jump on board with Kimmy for a replay. He tried to keep the nose in there, but he just couldn't quite do it. And you see real close, he cut the corner a little bit. In that case, we probably could have left him a bit more room. But anyway, right behind Roman Grosjean now and Carlos Sainz. Can we go around the outside? Potentially of both, no. But we do get around the outside of Roman Grosjean. That was very optimistic to think we were going to get Sainz as well. But we get Grosjean. Now we're up to P12. Personal best lap of the race. Are we going to go around the outside of the McLaren? He doesn't leave us any room. He forces us clean off. I think he did mount the curb a little bit. May have just sent him a little bit wide, but he forced us off basically. So, a bit dodgy from Sainz there. Grosjean coming clean up the inside. Where the hell did he even come from? I never even saw him coming. Let's jump back on board with the Haas and see this mammoth dive. He lunges up the inside of Sainz and so late on the brakes that he nearly T-bones my right side pod. Oh, I never even saw him coming, to be honest. If he had to go on a whisker deeper, we would have been in strife. But anyway, speaking of the Haas's, we've caught up to the second one, Lucas Weber and our teammate Ricardo. We're going to go up the inside, double overtake potentially, but we've overshot. We've braked too late, little lock up on the right front. And now Weber and Ricardo are both going to get us back maybe. I think they're side by side. Yes, they are. Ricardo with the inside. He should be able to get the move done. Do we lunge them? No, we don't. We stay put for the moment. Real good battle forming here, it must be said. All of us are scheduled to stop again as well, obviously, because soft tyres won't make it like, I don't know, 20, 21 laps or whatever it was. But anyway. Cutting on to lap 20, we've got Ricardo going a little bit defensive on Weber again. Right under the rear wing, we get real good. We've got real good drive traction, it seems, compared to the AI. We're up the inside of Weber. Ricardo goes defensive. We're going to lunge both of them potentially. Up the inside, we bang wheels. The teammates bang on wheels. This is not what you want to do. But Ricardo holds us off. Weber now back up the inside. Can we try and hang it around the outside? He kind of forces us wide a little bit. They're still going side by side. And finally Weber gives up the ghost. And that is us up into P10. Oh, but is he looking for a move up the inside? So we're not done. No, he doesn't go for the dive. So for the moment, we can breathe. We're in P10. Both runners in the points. 15 to go. So now we got to take a breath for a moment. Jesus. Alright, on the back of Ricardo now. DRS open, overtake mode on the DRS. Around the outside of our teammate. And there we go. That's up to P9. Next up is Lando Norris. Can we reel in the McLaren? I'm not too sure. I feel like we are maxed out a little bit. Coming on the lap 25, we've got Lucas Weber pitting. He did actually re-overtake Ricardo and myself on lap 23, I think on the front straight with DRS. So we're going to go a lap longer. I think Ricardo is due in next lap from what the team have been telling me, but I want to keep him behind just in case because personal preference, you know, can change lap on lap. But as you can see, I think Ricardo, is he following us in? No, he stays out again. So Ricardo going for the overcut on Weber and us. Probably smart on his part not to double stack, because if he'd have done that, he would have ruined his chances of getting points. Let's go for a quick stop from the boys. Down off the jacks, 2.040, almost breaking into the world record territory of 1 second. World record was set in real life recently. German Grand Prix, Max Verstappen, 1.88 second pit stop. So, man, those guys at Red Bull, bloody hell, they're bloody quick, I'll give them that. But anyway, coming back onto the action now, lap 28, Verstappen, fastest lap of the race. Weber shoots up our inside in a unorthodox overtaking spot, shall we say. But we do get DRS, and I want to point out one thing here. As you can see, we're on mediums. Everyone around us is on the soft tyres, and that's because after qualifying, we had no brand new sets of softs left, so we had to go mediums or hards. So I've gone on to the mediums, where everyone else obviously had a spare set of softs, so they've obviously gone to the faster compound of tyre again. So that's given us a little bit of a disadvantage. But anyway, On to lap 30 now. We are on the back of Lucas Weber. This is a battle for 9th place, I believe. Purple to the first sector. That's all to do with DRS, obviously, mind you. Overtake mode on the DRS, rich fuel mixture, DRS wide open. And definitely probably what will not be the last time we blast past the Haas driver. That was a whole big rhyme in one, wasn't it? But anyway. Cutting on just a few moments later. Weber coming back at us. We got Ricciardo looking up here inside. Lewis Hamilton is out of the race. What has happened to the Mercedes driver? We can see him climbing up the hill, and it looks like an engine failure. Smoke coming out the back of that Mercedes. Hamilton's day is done. That's reminiscent of Malaysia 2016 stuff right there. So he undoubtedly will not be very happy with that. As we come on the lap 31, we actually made a little mistake, I think, at the top of the hill, and that has allowed Sainz, Ricciardo and Weber to sneak back through. So we have got our work cut out now. We get a little bit squirrely on the curb. We've got Raikkonen right behind us as well. Lance Stroll is out of the race as well. We won't worry about that just yet. We're going to go for the move potentially on Sainz. Oh my goodness, we nearly completely rear-ended our teammate. That is not what you want to be doing. As we got DRS open now on Carlos Sainz. Can we potentially go for the dive? Yes, we are. Big old yeet up the inside. He just leaves the space, and there we go. Back up into the points, back up into P10. On the lap 33 now. Ricciardo and Weber for about, what, the 500th time doing battle here in Austria. We cut to the inside of Ricciardo. That was a very nice cut through that small gap, I have to say. But we get the move done. Up into P8, can we potentially try pull away? Can we hang on to this? But I really don't think we can. And coming on the lap 34, I was dead right, because there goes Weber, and he really just forced us over the curb. He didn't want to leave us any room, so I don't know, Weber, maybe he's been watching Devon Butler a bit too much. But anyway, cutting on now to the end of lap 34, coming to 2 to go here at the Red Bull Ring. Anyway, DRS open on the back of Lucas Weber. Are we going to look for the move? Yes, we are. Around the outside into turn 1 again. He squeezes us up on the curb a little bit, just like Carlos Sainz did, I think. Ricciardo now on our left-hand side. Now with 3 wide going up the hill. I definitely don't think this is going to end well. Or is it? No, Weber over the curb. 3 wide. Oh my goodness, that was very messy. Thankfully, I don't think anyone's got damage. We've cleared Weber. Ricciardo's still on our left-hand side. Lucas is still there as well in the DRS. He's going to go for the lunge up the inside. We try and outbrake everybody, and I think we've just managed to do so. Weber, Ricciardo now side by side. Weber now pulls out to the right-hand side to try and overtake us around the outside. Is he going to get that done? We bang wheels. We send it back up the inside. He's still there. Side by side with the Haas driver as we come to the final lap of the race. Up on the curb, man, this is really getting interesting. And Ricciardo, he's there. I think he was actually up the inside of Weber there as well, so it was 3 wide momentarily. But Weber, defensive line into the final corner, and that kind of screws his run onto the front straight up. We're going to go up the inside, but Ricciardo sends it up the inside, and as you can see now, he just forces himself again. And that has kind of really screwed us up, because Raikkonen's now got to run on us, Sainz has now got to run on us, and now we're going backwards. This is not what we need. We're going to send it up the inside of Raikkonen. He nearly tapped Ricciardo. I think he just missed. But we send it back up the inside of those two. Charles Leclerc wins the Austrian Grand Prix for Ferrari. Pity he couldn't do that in real life. He came so close, but Verstappen just got him at the end. But anyway, that doesn't happen in our race today. But as we come through the middle sector, Ricciardo and Weber still doing battle at this moment. I'm just praying that they might hold each other up just a little bit, just give us enough time to maybe sneak one or both positions back, but it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. Raikkonen all over our rear wing, but thankfully we should just be safe. So it looks like it's going to be P8 and P10 for Renault. Not the best race, but at least we got some points.
Sorry about that, I guess they can't all go to plan. Bring her in, we'll go over what happened in the debrief.
So, another excellent win from Ferrari. What do you think it was, Hans, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
But anyway, there we go, guys. That has been round number 9, the Austrian Grand Prix. I don't really know how to feel about that, to be honest. We come away with a single point, but feel like we really did give something away. We could have at least been 8th. Maybe we could have been fighting Norris, I'm not too sure. Driver standings, we get re-overtaken by Valtteri Bottas. Ricciardo jumps up to P10, so at least both Renaults are in the top 10 in the drivers. Constructors, we're still best of the rest, so that's looking pretty good. So, all in all, pretty good weekend. Alright, back in the trailer now. We had no questions from Claire, oddly enough. I don't know if that was just a one-off or whether, you know, that's a common thing among a couple of you guys. Career modes, like, does that happen? Do you have races where you don't get interviewed when it's over? You know, let me know. I don't know. Obviously, I'm still learning a few things, but 823 resource points in total, so we might go purchase another upgrade. But we won't worry about that just yet, because I think there's a couple of invitational events on offer, so let's go look at those.
Looks like one of your rivals is also going to an upcoming historical event. If you choose to take him on, it might help get your name out there a bit.
Alright, thanks for the offer, Claire. I'll take it under advisement. We might just do them off camera if I decide to do them. Couple of interview transcripts again, one from my old mate Lucas Faber, so of course don't really pay attention to those because, you know, they don't mean anything to me. I glance over them but I don't pay too much attention. Looking at the chassis side of things, just wondering what to do, whether we do purchase an upgrade. I'm thinking maybe tyre wear or brakes if we do. We're going to go brakes actually. So that should hopefully come on the car for the next episode. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in as always. Hope you enjoy. Remember, leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Stay tuned for plenty more. And until the next episode, I'll catch you guys next time.